Page 104, in the secret. Cut time, or 2/2 time, in the key of G major, one sharp, all the F's are sharp. Now, in talking about this, at first I'm going to change the time signature to 4/4 and talk about it in 4/4, and we'll put it back in cut time later on. It's just easier dealing with eighth notes if I can go 1 and 2 and rather than 1 and a 2 and a. And so I'll put it in 4/4. Starting with the right hand. It's the rhythm. Look out. 1 and 2 and 3 and. A lot of this syncopation going on. Again, and it's all over the place. So get these first two measures and you got most of the piece. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's pretty much it for page 104. The verse starts at the bottom of 104, but it's the same rhythm, same notes. At the last measure on 104, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Go down to the third line on page 105. Last measure. It's the same rhythm, but watch the fingering, it changed. Now they want a 2 on the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Because you got to come up to a C on the. That's fine. And then in the last measure, you can go back down and put third finger on G. It's the same rhythm. On page 106, second line, when the chorus starts, you're here. Now, I like to do a 2-1 on the 2 Gs. You can do 1 on both if you want. And then I recommend a 2 on the F sharp and a 3 on this A if your hand's big enough. Otherwise, you're stuck with putting the thumb on the. It's just you don't have to. So the first two measures of the second line, 1 and 2 and 3 and. And watch the rhythm in that second measure because it's not. It's syncopated again. Again, the first two measures, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So you have to watch the rhythm. For the last two measures of the third line on page 106, you're here. And then rest on beat 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest and. You don't have to cross over they're just having you keep your hand in this position and you're doing that. I'm having you move around a little bit. It's your choice what you do. The last two measures on page 107, down at the bottom, that is a G, an A, and a D. And it's rolled. And I'll come back to that a little bit later. The left hand, keep it soft. It's just down here providing harmony and a little bit of sensible rhythm because the right hand is so syncopated. At least the left hand, for the most part, is staying on the beat. So, like in the second line on page 104, you have quarter notes in the left hand. The right hand, you got that syncopation going on. See that G comes in between the two. And for the most part, that's the left hand. Put the hands together. At the beginning, the left hand's tied for two measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 1 and. Couple little things on page 104, careful. Going from the last measure of the first line to the next line, both hands. Use fourth finger on that D, here, not fifth, here, so you can connect these. Then reach up second, and then you can use fifth finger on the last one. We want to connect these with the hands. not relying on the pedal. Pedal comes later. We want to connect them with the hands. So the last measure of the first line going on is this way. And anywhere else you get that same fingering, play a legato with the hands if you can. At the bottom of page 104, in the second measure, the right hand, that whole note, hold that down the whole measure and you're adding the D to it. The last line then is here. Then hold the G down, it's tied. There. The G stays down through all of that. And then you start the piece. On page 105, first line, last measure. There's no words in here. Play this as soft. This is all background. The only stuff you bring out is the notes with words to it. Like at the beginning on page 105, the first couple measures. Then it's soft. Then again. You get the idea, I hope, with the bringing out the melody on that. Then we add pedal. Kind of help connect it together. And there's a couple different ways you can pedal this. You'll have to experiment and decide what you like. I can get away with pedaling at once each measure, or once every couple of beats, or twice a measure. So it's here, here, change it, change it, change it, change it. I'm changing it with the right hand in the first measure of the second line. Bottom of page 105, I recommend every 2 quarter notes here. Change it with the G in the right hand. And a lot of times I'm leaving it up for like an 8th note. On this passages type thing, I may not pedal it. I may lift up on the A and then pedal it on the B. 1. Here. I mean, there, like that. So slowly, this is the last measure of page 104, and anywhere else in here with the same thing, I could pedal it this way. Put it down, play these, lift it up on the A, right here, and then play the B and put it down there. Again, it just clears out the mushiness. This is a fairly, it says moderately in 2, but it's in cut time. Well, it's in 2, cut time's in 2, and so you have to feel that 1, 2, 1, 2. On the other hand, if you can sing it, how fast would you sing it? And the speed will help. I mean, it doesn't get quite so blurry when it's quick like this. If it were slow, we'd have to pedal this a little more carefully. On page 104 at the beginning, it's like I'm not even pedaling some of these. I don't need it. It's like on the second measure of the first line, or the first measure of the second line, same difference. I'm not pedaling until the G. Like that. I mean, you don't need it, so why bother? But you experiment with the pedaling and decide how you want to pedal, and it'll make a difference on how fast you're going. On page 106 at the beginning, I'm pedaling it with the right hand here. And that last measure of the first line, I'm not pedaling at all. And on the second line, I pedal the first measure. And on the second measure, I don't pedal it until I play the A in the right hand. So the first 2 measures. last measure, don't pedal that. I don't pedal it, you can pedal it if you want to, but on these others, it's I pedal the last line again. It's the same as the others. This is on page 106. Pedal the whole measure, then don't pedal it until you play the A in the right hand. There, that's a way of doing it. This doesn't get so mushy. Then on page 107, it's close to what it was at the beginning. There, it's this. It's a little cleaner and simpler sound. And at the last, there at the bottom, the last two measures, I take all four of these notes as one long chord there. In other words, I roll all four notes. You don't have to, you can play the two G's together. And then there. And hold the pedal down for the last two measures all the way across, and then lift everything up together. I like to do just a play with me type thing if you want to play along. I'm going to do pages 104 and 105, then I'm going to stop, turn the page, count us in again, and do pages 106 and 107. So I'm going to do this in quarter notes though, I'm not in half notes. So I'm going to do it in 4/4 time, not cut time. So I'm going to give them 4 quarter note counts each time. So if you're going to play along, put your hands where they go to start, and here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and turn the page. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the next line. 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, 3, 4, tie, hold, that is, 3, 4, off.